Hello everybody, and welcome to essentially what are going to be my thoughts and just everything involving Final Shape. I really don't know if I would call this a review. I would just call this more of a thoughts video, just sort of riffing off of the idea of the little video that Dado did, just because I don't want to really call this a review. It's just more or less things I want to talk about involving everything involving Final Shape without the context of the raid. As of me recording this, it is Monday, June 17th. So it has been almost 2 weeks, roughly, since, it'll be 2 weeks after this video going up since, the DLC has come out. So here's your spoiler warning if it wasn't already obvious. And two, there will be no spoilery type gameplay other than like mentioning of one of the quests that is in post campaign, as well as just the activity, the overthrow activity, which is already kind of a thing. So, also if you hear yelling in the background, my family's watching the basketball game, so forgive me if they do that. I don't have privacy in my own home because it's not my own home. So, regardless, mostly I want to talk about a lot of the good stuff. There is some obviously the bad stuff that I'm going to get out of the way right away. The server issues that plagued the launch were to be expected, but it did ruin the vibe quite a bit. A lot of them were just due to the fact of just the server not being able to take 500,000 something people, or even more, hopping all on the server all at once. So it is understandable, but also it's just unfortunate that it really did kind of hinder the overall launch experience. But server issues aside, the overall expansion experience was very fun. I think the unlocking of Prismatic was definitely a step up from Strand in Lightfall and Beyond Light Stasis. Especially in terms of the post-campaign stuff. Because you unlock it basically in the first mission about towards the very end. You get to toy with it for a bit, have a little bit of fun with it. But other than that, you really just only gotta do, like, as you play the campaign, you unlock more, and then you unlock even more as you progress through the Pale Heart stuff. And I think it's very, very fun, very, very not super tedious, or not super difficult, it's just a little tedious, and even then it's not too bad. Like, as me recording this, I'm literally only missing one fragment so far, and it's not even that bad. It's just because I had my convention that I went to, so obviously I was busy and I couldn't finish it. And I was also trying to do a multitude of other different things, like unlock Vostok, which is basically what I'm doing here, as well as unlocking the different activities and stuff for me to do every week, so that way I can be prepped for my raid run, which should be happening hopefully this weekend. I will not be mentioning anything involved in the raid, because obviously I have not done it yet. But from what I've seen, it does seem to be very interesting and very difficult, so I'm excited for that. You should see a video on that, hopefully sooner rather than later. There is also the overall story being very, 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 very good. I know I used a lot of very there, but listen, it's good. I liked it a lot. It did a lot of good things. It was not cring. It was very good. I liked it. It did some things very, very fun, and there was, like, dialogue didn't feel too out of place. The storyline with Cade coming back, with Crow and Ikora Zaval, all of them dealing with the fact that Cade is back. Obviously you have everything involving just generally the Witness and everything else. The Witness trying to constantly be toying with us and reaching out, trying to basically convert us, all that sort of thing. The dissenting voices from, like, the Veiled Statues. We finally got stuff from the Veiled Statues. We have finally more information on why the Witness does what the Witness does. And just overall, the story is very, very good. You also have, generally, just a lot of very, very good stuff when it comes to the story. I'd say the really only negative thing, and it's even then it's a very light negative, was the lack of I wouldn't say urgency, but it's this weird lack of... I think the word I'm looking for is... I honestly just don't know what the word I'm looking for is. But it's just a lot of going on that isn't necessarily super required. Like, basically getting the gang back together like we did in the original... like, Red War campaign. That felt a little odd, but other than that, it was fine. The only other thing I would really complain about, and even then is a very minor complaint, is the way you unlock the seasonal weapons does feel a little weird, and I do wish that the seasonal weapons were a bit more potent, I guess, in terms of unlocking them in the campaign. I wish you unlocked all of them by the end of the campaign, or at least 99% of them, maybe like everything but like maybe the auto rifle and the sword, because both of those are probably my favorite weapons that I've been using. The sidearm's really good. The sidearm actually I think was like the number one used weapon in the raid. On top of that, you also have stuff like the exotics obviously being locked post campaign, which is fine. That's understandable. But also just general bugs, plaguing, stuff like that. But even then, again, like bugs aside and server issues aside, the launch was very, very good. Everything about this has been very, very good. And again, the only real complaint I have is just a lot of the weapons feel kind of meh outside of like a small handful. And that's like putting it lightly. Like everything other than that has been very, very good. And I've very much enjoyed the experience of unlocking red borders for the weapons. Personally, I really like the hand cannon. The auto rifle is fun, and I really, really, really like the strand machine gun. Because you can get both target lock or it can get target lock or bait and switch, and Envious Assassin. So it's like really, really good for that, and I think it's very, very interesting for at least ad clear. But I think I'm mainly gonna be using it for like DPS. I think it'd be kind of interesting. I know it's machine gun, but still. I still think it's a little bit interesting just to see, at least, a machine gun with bait and switch, because it's the first time I think we've had it. We also have the new sword, the Ergo Sum, which is very good, and I've gotten a few rolls that I've been very happy with. The one I've actually been hunting, that I actually literally got as of after, like, you'll see me claim a Pathfinder. The Ergo Sum in that Pathfinder reward is actually the sword I'm hunting. So there's that. But other than that, it's been very, very fun grinding out these weapons, because it's been interesting to have weapons that are different in terms of how they work. Like, the rocket sidearm is very, very fun. I love the Indebted Kindness. I've been still hunting for a roll of that, but then we have the Call. I guess it's a new solar one. This is the exact same thing. There's obviously the new... there's a bunch of the raid weapons. I think there's like a really good pulse rifle in the raid that's really good. There's the new... Oh, no, they have another heavy burst sidearm that's really fun that I've been using. You have the... Actually, I'm going to go to my collections and quickly look. Just to get an idea. You have the new sword, the new solar sword from the world. False Idols can get some interesting rolls. You have the new Axial Lacuna fusion. You have a new Arc Scout Rifle. You have obviously some of the returning weapons in the episodes. That's going to be a separate video on its own, but regardless, I will talk about them in their own vacuum, I guess. The overall offerings that we have in terms of the story has been very, very good, and I've been very excited to continue on. Like, we have a bunch of the different triumphs. I haven't done the dual destiny thing, but expect a video on that eventually. I haven't unlocked Kavastov. I have not unlocked Macrocosm, but from what I've heard, those ones are very good. I have unlocked Still Hunt. I've had a decent amount of fun using that. And the Legendary campaign experience was very fun. Generally, I did stream a good chunk of it basically until the servers screamed at me and I couldn't play it anymore. I did end up finishing off stream, but on recording, as you saw. And I did do the Excision mission, as you also saw that. And the entire offering was very, very fun. There's Grandmaster Excision coming out. As we're recording this, it is as of this going up, it should be like in an hour or so. I do not know if I will be doing a video on that unless I get pulled into one from a streamer, and even then I don't think I'll have any recorded, my recorded reaction personally. It'll maybe just be the footage from said streamer if they allow me to, or maybe just the I'll just record my gameplay, no voice or anything, because I doubt it'll be changed that much in terms of like how it works, but it'll just be the experience itself being different. That being said, I am still decently excited for what's to come. As of me recording this, we are still in Act 1 of the new episodes type thing. For what it's kind of going off of, it's very interesting. I know it is very much like still Season 24, effectively. But regardless, it is still doing something different in the sense of it's giving us these offerings and this idea of the story being slightly different and delivering it to us in acts rather than being all in one. Like the first few weeks, it seems like they're kind of divvying it out over a few different weeks, I guess. And it's remains to be seen, but it is also the episode launching with an expansion, so I am not expecting too much new. But on the same token, I'm also very hesitant to want to really give it a good rating. But, that being said, again, I want to talk more Final Shape. The gameplay of the main campaign, up until, and I basically want to echo Dado's thoughts here, up until essentially the 5th mission or so, felt very light. It was odd. I was literally like saying, like, I've been having a really easy time with this, and it's felt easy, and then I immediately ate my words on the 6th and 7th mission. But, that being said, I still did thoroughly enjoy myself and have a whale of a time getting my butt absolutely handed to me in the later 2 missions. Like, in the recording for the last 2 missions, I think the actual footage ended up being like 4 hours on the final mission. Or just like the final 2 missions, both of which are very good. As for specifically my thoughts on storyline related stuff, the Witness and the person who did his performance did an absolutely amazing job portraying the Witness. Tarj being a character that exists and we've known about in the lore for a really long time was very, very fun to see. And to see, to not only have a connection to it because of the fact that it's Zavala's ghost, and then us realizing, oh god, Zavala is now lightless, is just, oh, okay, they just did that. Alright. And then similarly, you also have, like, the stuff involving, Savathun coming back. Obviously, Keitel and Mithrax helping us out because they're, like, our allies in the coalition and stuff like that. You also have everything involving the Witness trying, the dissenting voices from the Witness basically being the voices inside of the Witness that were against what it is, that are, like, the fear and everything else like that. If you play the campaign, you'll understand. But everything involving this story was really, really well done, and a lot of people were very hesitant because, oh, Bungie doesn't know what to do, and then they're only really good when they have their back against the wall. And it's like, when Bungie wants to cook, they can cook. Because, as much as I didn't do Pantheon, watching people do Pantheon was very fun. Watching people do stuff like, the Outbreak missions, that was fun. The, like, Onslaught was really fun, grinding out shiny weapons, even though I had to delete them for materials, was very, very fun. Everything involving everything that Bungie's done recently has been very good. It's just, I hate that it's always when Bungie is backed against the wall when it comes to community criticism, because when Bungie can make something good, they know how to make something good. I mean, hell, obviously, if you've been at the channel for a while, I've been making series on franchises, big franchises, and I only recently finished, Halo, like, basically end of last year, give or take, and I had a blast doing that. And Bungie knows how to make, when Bungie knows how to make something, they just know how to cook, and they know how to make a really good story. Is it still something that is very, like, should it have happened the way it did? No, I think Lightfall should have been better than what we got, genuinely. And I liked Lightfall's campaign. I like Nimbus. A lot of people find Nimbus cringy. I find Nimbus endearing. Solely because, unlike most people, I find Nimbus to be kind of adorable. And I like the whole augmented cyborg type vibe that the Amuna, the Cloud Traders are. So I think that's also a little bit of bias there. But then also there's stuff like being introduced to a character like Rohan and then them dying having no real significance other than like, oh, you killed a character, woo. But then you have Tarj, who, well, yes, we've never really interacted with him before this day. We have him being, like, a more impactful death than Rohan was. And then also having Cade basically save us because our ghost was dead. You know? Like, that whole thing. Like, that's another whole different story as well, is Cade sacrificing himself because our ghost is dead. Our ghost literally, like, had the light basically drained from it. Not by the witness, but just in general was drained. And to have that impactful of a story beat and then just be like, oh. But yeah, it was definitely a very, very fun experience nonetheless, and I'm very excited to see what Bungie has in the future and has in store for us in the next saga of Destiny. I'm very much excited for the rest of episode Echoes, the one involving the Fallen, in a few months, as well as everything involving, and everything upcoming. I'm gonna just straight up say it. Obviously, we're going to be getting a new dungeon and presumably a reprise raid at some point this year. I'm excited for those. Because Bungie never said they're not doing a reprise raid, but they also never said that they are doing a reprise raid. So it's like, I'm assuming we're getting one. It's just, I don't know if it'll be Scourge. I hope it is. Or not Scourge, Wrath. Because, you know, it would make sense to have it be Wrath, because it's the only D1 raid now in the game. But regardless, some other things I just want to talk about involving Destiny are Pathfinder. That was one of the things that was introduced with Final Shape, and I am indifferent on it. I think it definitely has a place. I just do wish it was a little bit more easier to navigate to, more than anything. But I also wish at the same time that it was a little bit more intuitive in terms of its overall accessibility. I think it's a fun little thing. I just think for people like me who aren't huge on PvP, not saying we hate PvP, but I'm not huge on PvP personally, so I do feel bad for those who are anti-PvP, and they're basically forced to play a mode that they don't want to play. I feel for that, but at the same time, it's like, even if you make the challenge, load into a PvP match, people aren't going to want to do it, because it requires something that is basically not the hugest of things. But yeah, overall, I think everything involved with Final Shape has been very good. If I have to do any real complaints that aren't like nitpicking, God, I guess one big nitpick is just the fact of, I think pacing could have been a little bit faster in the early section. Maybe not too fast, but just a smidge bit faster, because I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna be straight up honest. The stuff involving getting the gang back together, I feel like should have been at least 1 to 2 missions rather than 3. Everything involving Crow and again the Witness, just in general, was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I think everything involving Zavala was really, like, heartfelt and touching. And I'm gonna straight up say it, Keith David did an amazing job portraying Zavala, filling in the shoes of Keith David. Filling in the shoes of Lance Reddick, excuse me. Of course he's filling in the shoes of Keith David. He is Keith David. But I do think a lot of the impact from... Lance Reddick would have definitely made some of the things that Zavala said and did a bit better. It's not necessarily saying it's bad, it's just it felt a bit off at times. And even then, that's not really a complaint, it's just, oh, that's odd, type thing. But, that being said, I, again, still had an amazing time doing everything. In fact, bringing it up because I'm just meandering the Pale Heart, just kind of doing my own thing. The sections where you go into, like, a little darkness anomaly that are, like, that's, like, glass, and you basically deal with the memories of everyone. You just have, like, this general feeling of dread whenever the Witness talks, and hell, when at the very end, when the Witness starts getting angry, it's like, okay, that's like horrifying, and basically is trying to weaponize the guilt of Zavala and Crow and all that. It's just like, okay, that's terrifying. The iconography of the hands and everything is absolutely amazing. The iconography of just generally the Pale Heart is amazing. I love it. It's just so creepy. There's like these, again, like I said, in these like darkest areas where the Witness kind of influenced everything. There's egregore spores everywhere. There's obviously there's the hands and everything. There's like weird odd angles and cut shapes, stuff like that. Just everything feels off. Everything feels weird. Hell, in the landing, all the stuff involving like there's a bunch of areas with like that's like super lush and like lush, vibrant, high saturation. There's just hand statues of like statues that are just straight up hands. And then there's the area in between the blooming and the divide and the impasse, like the seclusion, like the area in between the blooming and the seclusion, that's like all kind of IOE and underground with like light brimming everywhere. You have obviously seclusion where you find Zavala, that's his homestead. You have the divide, which is very reminiscent of D1 and the Cosmodrome / Europa. You have the impasse, which is very witnessy, like pyramid swamps. The transgression, which basically is just you're getting close to the Witness's pyramid or the Witness's monolith. You have like the blooming, which is just Io. The refraction, which is like Dreaming City themed. The landing, which is just very lush, Last City type thing. The Lost City, which is just straight up the Last City. You have the overall intro to the Pale Heart, which is just very, very good. I know it's very like kind of lackluster, but I found it very fun. And then you obviously have the post campaign involving both Micah 10. You have the Still Hunt Exotic Quest. You have so much going on in this DLC, and I absolutely love it. There's just so much life breathed into this DLC that it's almost overwhelming at times. Like, just to give you an idea, I'm like power level 1992 with my artifact, and I don't have every single item unlocked in the collections tab for the Pale Heart. I'm still working on getting Kvostov, the class item, microcosm, the ship, and basically all of the armor for my classes. In fact, it's weird that it says I have all the armor, even though I know I don't. I guess it gives it to you by default. That's kind of interesting. That gives you the suit by default. I kind of like that though. But I'm also working on trying to get all my red boards for the world weapons. I still need to get red boards, I think, for the Neo Muno weapons too. Now I think about it. But I'm also working on the weapons for the Echoes stuff. I've been doing Echoes grinding because it's been again, I've been having fun playing Destiny, and I actually feel happy hopping on and playing Destiny and doing stuff involving Destiny. And it's just like, huh, this is weird. I like this. Why is this fun? But you get the general idea. I've been grinding the game and having fun doing it. You know? Hell, I'm working on doing Alone in the Dark so I can get the Kvostov. So, yeah, because I want to get Kvostov for Radcliffe, because I think it's very fun and I like this weapon. So, yeah, it's very much just me trying to have fun and do things again. And I'm having fun playing the game. Regardless, I hope you guys have been enjoying either your experience playing the Final Shape or your experience playing Destiny as a whole, or whatever you've been playing recently. In fact, if you have made it this far into the video and you are still watching, one, if you are new, subscribe. I do upload every single day. And two, let me know what games you've been playing, because I'm interested in looking into new games to play, on top of the fact of I'm looking for new games to kind of try out and give some light, because I've been enjoying myself quite a bit recently. And yeah, regardless, again, be sure to like the video, because I do like making YouTube content and it's very fun. As me recording this, we're still very, very close to 500 subs. It would mean the world to me if we could hit that. I definitely want to try and hit 1K by the end of the year, but I know that's not easily possible. But even if we just hit 500 by the end of the year, that'd be even cooler. But yeah, I'll see you guys next video. Larson, we're listening to make. Everybody, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.